Chronicles of Narnia: The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis. Chapter 10. Who Will Go Into the Stable? Joel felt something tickling her ear. It was Jewel the unicorn, whispering to her with the wide whisper of a horse's mouth. As soon as she heard what he was saying, she nodded and tiptoed back to where Puzzle was standing. Quickly and quietly she cut the last cords around the lion's skin to him. It wouldn't do for him to be caught with that on, after what the ape had said. She would like to have hidden the skin somewhere very far away, but it was too heavy. The best she could do was kick it among the thickest bushes. Then she made signs to Puzzle to follow her, and they both joined the others. The ape was speaking again. And a horrid thing after that, like Aslan Tashlan is angrier than ever. He says he's been a great deal too good to you, coming every night and be looked at. See, well, he's not coming out any more. Howls and mewings and squeals and grunts were heard as the animals answered to this, but suddenly a quite different voice broke out in a laugh. Hark what the monkey says, it shouted. We know why he isn't bringing out his precious Aslan. I'll tell you why. Because he hasn't got him. He never had anything except an old donkey with a lion's skin on his back. Now he's lost that, and he doesn't know what to do. Trinian could not see the faces on the other side of the fire, but very well he guessed this was Griffel or the chief dwarf, and he was quite certain of it when, a second later, all the dwarfs' voices joining in, singing, Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Silence! thundered Rashtatar Khan. Silence, children of mud! Listen to me, you other Narnians, lest I give you command to my warriors to fall upon you with the edge of the sword. Your lordship has already told you of the wicked ass. Do you think, because of him, that there's no real Taslan in the stable? Do you? Beware, beware. No, no, shouted most of the crowd, but the dwarf said, That's right, Durkee, you've got it. Come on. Monkey, show us what's in the stable. Seeing is believing. When the next moment the quiet ape said, You dwarfs think you're very clever, don't you? But not so fast. I never said you couldn't see Tashlan. Anyone who likes can see him. The whole assembly became silent. Then, after nearly a minute, the bear began in a slow, puzzled voice. I don't understand this, it grumbled. I thought you said. You thought? Repeated the ape. If anyone could call what goes on in your head thinking. Listen, you others. Anyone can see Tashlan, but he's not coming out. You have to go and see him. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, said dozens of voices. That's what we wanted. We can go in and see him face to face. And now he'll be kind and it will be as it used to be. And the birds chattered and the dogs barked excitedly. Suddenly there was a great stirring and the noise of creatures rising to their feet, and in a second the whole lot of them would have been rushing forward, trying to crowd into the stable door all together. But the ape shouted, Get back! Quiet! Not so fast! The beasts stopped, and many of them with one paw in the air, many tails wagging, and all of them with heads on one side. I thought you said, began the bear, but Shift interrupted. Anyone can go in, he said. But wait a minute, he'll go first. He didn't say he was feeling very kind. He's been licking his lips a lot since he swallowed up the wicked king the other night. He's been growling a good deal this morning. I wouldn't like to go much into that stable myself tonight, but just as you please. Who'd like to go in first? Don't blame me if he swallows your whole blast or splash you into a cinder with a mere terror of his eyes. That's your affair. Now then, who's first? What about one of you dwarfs? Dilly, dilly, come and be killed, sneered the Griffel. How do we know what you've got in there? Ho, ho, cried the ape, so beginning to think there is something in there, eh? Well, all you beasts are making a noise enough a minute ago. What struck you all dumb? Who's going first? But the beasts all stood looking at one another and been backing away from the stable. Very few tails were wagging now. The ape waddled to and fro, jeering at them. Ho, 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 he chuckled. I thought you were all eager to see Tashlan face to face. Changed your mind, eh? Trinian bent his head to hear something that Joel was trying to whisper in his ear. What do you think is really inside the stable? She said. Who knows, said Trinian. 2 Calamites with drawn swords, likely as not, one on each side of the door. You don't think, said Joel. It might be, that horrid thing we saw. Tush himself, whispered Trinian. There's no knowing. But courage, child. We're all between the paws of the true Aslan. Then a most surprising thing happened. Ginger the cat, in a cool, clear voice, not as if all he was excited. I'll go in if you like. Every creature turned and fixed his eyes on the cat. Mark their subtlety, sire, said Poggin to the king. This cursed cat is in the plot, the very centre of it. Whatever's in the stable will not hurt him, I'll be bound. Then Ginger came out again and said that he has seen some wonder. But Trinian had no time to answer him. The ape was calling the cat to come forward. Ho, ho, said the ape. You a pert puss. You would like to look upon him face to face. Come on then, I'll open the door for you. Don't blame me if he scares the whiskers off your face. That is your affair. Sorry for the noise in the background, everybody. And the cat got up and came out of its place in the crowd, walking primly and daintily, with its tail in the air, not one hair on his sleek coat out of place. It came on till it had passed the fire and was so close that Trinian, from where he stood with his shoulder against the end wall, never blinked. Cool as a cucumber, muttered Eustace. It knows nothing it has to fear. The ape, chuckling, making faces, shuffled across beside the cat, put up his paw, drew the bolt, and opened the door. Trinian thought he could hear the cat purring as it walked into the dark doorway. Wee! The most horrible caterwaul you ever heard made anyone jump. You have been wakened yourself by cats quarrelling or making love on the roof in the middle of the night. You know the sound. This was worse. The ape was knocked head over heels by Ginger coming back at the stable at top speed. If you had known Naughty was a cat, you might have thought he was a ginger-coloured streak of lightning. He shot across the open grass back into the crowd. No one wants to meet a cat in that state. You could see animals getting out of his way to left and right. He dashed up a tree, whisked round, hung his head downwards. His tail was bristled out till it was nearly as thick as his whole body. His eyes were like sources of green fire. Along his back every single hair stood on end. I'd give my beard, whispered Boggin, to know whether that brute is only acting or whether it has actually found something in me that frightened it. Peace, friend, said Trinian, for the captain and the ape were also whispering, and he wanted to hear what they said. He did not succeed, except what he heard the ape once more whimpering, my head, but he got the idea that those two were almost as puzzled by the cat's behaviour as himself. Now, Tiger, said the captain. Now, Ginger, said the captain. Enough of that noise. Tell them what you have seen. Screamed the cat. Art thou not a talking beast? Said the captain. Then thou hold that jellyfish northern talk. What was followed was rather horrible. Trinian felt quite certain, and also that the others, that the cat was trying to say something, but nothing came out of his mouth except the ordinary ugly cat noises that you might hear from any angry or frightened old Tom in the backyard in England. And the longer he caterwauled, the less like a talking beast he looked. The uneasy whimpering and little sharp squeals broke out from among the other animals. Look, said the voice of the bear. It can't talk. It has forgotten how to talk. It has gone back to being a dumb beast. Look at its face. Everyone saw that it was true, and then the greatest terror fell upon the Narnians. For every one of them had been taught, when there was only a chick, or a puppy, or a cub, how Aslan at the beginning of the world had turned the beasts of Narnia into talking beasts and warned them that if they weren't good they might one day be turned back again, like the poor woodless animals one meets in other countries. And now it is coming upon us, they moaned. Mercy, mercy, wailed the beasts. Spare us, lordship. Stand between us and Aslan. You must go in and speak to him for us. We daren't. Ginger disappeared up further into the tree. No one ever saw him again. Trinian stood with his hand on his sword hilt and head bowed. He was dazed with the horrors of that night. Sometimes he thought it would be best to draw his sword at once and rush upon the Calamines. The next moment he thought it would be better to wait and see what new turn affairs might take. And now a new turn came. My father, came a clear ringing voice from the left of the crowd. Trinian knew at once that it was one of the Calamines speaking, for in the Shark's army the common soldiers call my master, but the officers call their senior officers my father. Jill and Eustace didn't know this, but after looking this way and that, they saw the speaker, for of course people at the sides of the crowd were easier to see than people in the middle, where the glare of the fire made all beyond it look rather black. He was young and tall, slender, and even rather beautiful in the dark, haughty Calamine way. My father, he said to the captain, I also desire to go in. Peace, Emeth, said the captain. Who called you to council? Does it become a boy to speak? My father, said Emeth, truly I am younger than thou, also yet I am blood of the Carcans, even though art, and I also am servant of Tash, therefore silence, said Richard O'Connor. Am I not the only captain? Thou hast nothing to do with the stable, it is for the Narnians. Nay, my father, answered Emeth, thou hast said that their Aslan and our Tash are all one. If that is the truth, then Tash himself is in yonder. How then he says thou I have nothing to do with him, for gladly I would die 1,000 deaths if I might look once upon the face of Tash. Thou art a fool and understandest nothing, said Tashoda Khan. These be high matters. Emeth's face grew sterner. Is it not true that Tash and Aslan are all one? He whispered. Has he lied to us? Of course they all won, said the ape. Swear it, ape, said Emeth. Oh dear, whispered Shift. I wish you'd all stop bothering me. My head does ache. Yes, I swear it. Then my father, said Emeth, I'm utterly determined to go in. Fool, began Rashtatar Khan, but at once the dwarfs began shouting, Come along, Darky, why don't you let him in? Why don't you let the Nanans in and keep your people out? What have you got in there that you don't want your own to meet? Trina and his friends could only see the back of Rashtatar Khan, so they never knew what his face looked like, and he shrugged his shoulders and said, Bear witness to all that I'm guiltless of this young fool's blood. Let him in, rash boy, and make haste. Then, just as the ginger had done, Emeth came walking forward into the open strip of grass between the bonfire and the stable. His eyes were shining, his face very solemn, and his hand was on his sword hilt like he carried his head high. Jill felt like crying when she looked at his face, and Jill whispered in the king's ear, By the lion's mane, I almost love this young warrior, Calamine though he be. He is worthy of a better god than Tush. I do wish we knew what was inside there, said Eustace. Emeth opened the door and went into the black mouth of the stable. He closed the door behind him. Only a few moments passed, but it seemed longer, before the door opened again. A figure in Calamine armour reeled out, fell on its back, and lay still. The door closed behind it. The captain leaped out towards him and stared at its face. He gave a start of surprise. Then he recovered himself and turned to the crowd, crying out, The rash boy has seen his will. He has looked on Tash and is dead. Take warning, all of you. We will, said the poor beasts, but Trinian and his friends stared at the dead Calamine and then at one another, for they, being so close, could see that the crowd, being further off and beyond the fire, could not see. This dead man was not Emeth. It was quite a different, older man, thicker and not so tall, with a big beard. Ho ho ho, chuckled the ape. Any more? Anyone else want to go in? Well, as you're all shy, I'll choose the next. You boar! On you come, drive him up, Calamine's. He shall see Tashland face to face. Grunted the boar, rising heavily to his feet. Come on then, try my tusks. Then Trinian saw that the brave beast was getting ready to fight for its life, and the Calamine soldiers beginning to close in on it with their drawn scimitars, and no one was going to help. Something seemed to burst inside him. He no longer cared if this moment was to be interfered or not. Swords out, he whispered to the others. Arrow on the string, follow. The next moment the astonished Narnians saw 7 figures leap out north in front of the stable, 4 of them in shining mail. The king's sword flashed in the firelight as he moved it above his head and cried in a voice, Here stand I, Trinian of Narnia, in Aslan's name, to prove with my body that Tush is a foul friend, the ape a manifold traitor, and the Calamines worthy of death. To my side, all true Narnians. Would you wait till your new masters have killed you all by one?